Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Hammered Daily Show and with Piotr and Jay. And we're here to basically connect with you every day and to connect, engage, inspire, like during this lockdown period and maybe even beyond. Who knows?
It's going to take a lot of convincing to get Piotr back to doing 50-something days again, but we'll give it a go. We'll start with this
53
lockdown
days.
and we'll see what we can do from there.
Let's see. Well, today we are live both on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can basically interact with us here on Facebook or on YouTube. And yeah, we missed you guys, and those who are connecting that never watched this thing. Actually, no one ever has watched it because now it's a Hammered Daily Show. It's never been a Hammered Daily Show, right?
That's right. I mean, before it was just basically us just talking about what we were doing during the first lockdown and talking about auctions and basically just keeping it all very kind of maybe a little bit too one-dimensional. So this set of talks that we're going to be doing now is it hopefully it's going to be more holistic. So we'll be talking about a greater degree of or a greater variety of subjects and kind of different thought processes that we have. It's all going to be roughly property based or roughly business based or mindset based, but it's all kind of like the whole package. That's what we're aiming for. We normally just talk about property, and that's fun because we love property. um, but what we need to do is, I think, there are so many different elements of running a business or being entrepreneurial or loving property and being in property that you kind of that I think gets missed or is just treated a little bit too kind of wishy-washy or a little bit too kind of huggy cuddly. So we're just going to talk about it in practical terms and just see where we go from there.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got some comments already, and some people who missed our coffee mornings. Ula and Lee, Ranjit is saying he missed us. Oh well, good to have you back, Ranjit. And yeah, we definitely need to up our game because your consistency with posting the morning motivation pictures is impressive. Good stuff. Well, today, like for this, let us kind of introduce you to how we're planning to run this show, basically. So we're going to be live daily at 10 a.m. And basically, every day is going to be a different theme to this. And today it's Lightning Thursday. And Lightning Thursdays are going to be all about some things that are impactful, polarizing perhaps, and that are basically just topics for discussion that are out there and they may not be addressed, or we don't know what to think about those things, and it's a place for discussion. Then we're going to have relationships Fridays, where we're going to talk all sorts of things about relations, business relationships, life relationships, romantic relationships, whatever's going to come up. That's the theme. Saturday, it's what's a Saturday, Jay? Saturday is exactly, Jay. You don't remember. How could you not remember?
You changed all the names on me last minute, so I'm trying to catch up with it all.
Yes, Saturday it's a mind and body Saturday, exactly. So mind and body Saturday, it's all about those kind of things that are very useful for us in life, that perhaps in the busyness of our lives we don't do. And we're going to be bringing guests for this. So on Saturday we're going to have Darren Kirby, who's got a podcast about all those kind of things, and he's going to be, having conversation with us about this the mind and body stuff. Sunday, review and plan Sunday. So basically, that's the time where we'll be able to review what happened last week. We'll bring in some guests, maybe a panel, and then we'll look how to plan for the next week to make the most out of everything. Mondays are gonna be Monday flow. So basically, Monday is a day where we start things and the week starts, and it's like we need to get into the flow of things. And in the lockdown, when working from home, it might be a difficult thing. So we're gonna make it easy for you guys to connect with everything on Monday. Tuesdays are Take
Take
Action
Action
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
Yes, Take Actions Tuesdays, and
That one I remember. I'm looking
that
forward to
one
Tuesdays.
exactly. Jay is looking forward because that's his day off.
That's my day off. I'm taking action on Tuesdays.
Yeah, you could be in politics. You can be a prime minister, Jay, by the sounds of it. Let's take action now, but first a day off. Now, Tuesdays are gonna be me and a guest because on Tuesdays, Jay's got calls and pre-scheduled things with his consultancy at Auction House UK. So that's gonna be Take Action Tuesday with me and the guest. And then Wednesday, after a day off, obviously Jay's mind's gonna be fresh, so it's Innovation Wednesday. All the ideas that start flowing from this, it's that's what we're gonna share on Wednesdays. So it's gonna be the week, and we'll see how long we're gonna keep this momentum going.
I like the sound of Wednesday. I think we've got a couple of things that we can brag about on Innovation Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to the first Wednesday and sharing some fun bits there as well. But I think that's kind of a healthy mix of a lot of things to kind of talking about
Yeah.
and getting on with.
Yes, I think so. It's a good mix basically, and we're going to be bringing all sorts of guests, and we're happy and open to suggestions what you guys want to hear on each of those days. And Ranjit put a comment in here that wow, romantic relationships, great way to get hammered. Oh well, that's a topic for discussion. Brilliant, and I think because we're streaming this also on YouTube, and I'm guessing a lot of people on YouTube hasn't don't know us as well as people on Facebook, because on Facebook we're fairly active, and people kind of get to see the same thing over and over on Facebook. So you probably get to see a lot of us. But on YouTube, if you guys don't know us, basically we are auction specialists. We buy and sell properties in auctions. We maximize the property sales for clients in auctions, and we co-wrote a property auction book called Before the Hammer Falls. So that you can get on Amazon as well. But this daily show is going to be, yeah, it's going to be about business. We're going to be bringing our things, what we do, how we do things. You will be able to get insights into stuff. But also it's about bringing other people's ideas, and so that everything is applicable, whether you're looking to do anything in auctions or not.
That's a nice summary. I think that's fairly accurate there.
Fairly accurate, thank you.
Fairly accurate. Yeah. I think we could stick with that. That's a good way to go.
Uh-huh.
Piot's been working on behalf of clients and doing his own deals for about 10 years through auctions and agency. So he's been doing that for quite some time. I've been doing it for quite some time also. And this is what we do. We're in the process of creating what we call our ecosystem. So we are putting quite a few services and independent businesses into our ecosystem to create a flow of opportunity and to build what we call a take over the world kind of opportunity or mentality. So just to give you a bit of an insight into the kind of way that we are on what we're looking to achieve in very kind of muted tones.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people, I mean, a lot of businesses obviously are struggling, especially businesses that rely on people, the footfall, and people coming and offering a service that's very kind of personalized, in a sense that you need to physically be somewhere to basically receive that service. Those businesses will struggle, and obviously it's a discussion whether this lockdown is necessary or not necessary, and that's, I guess, the first very polarizing thing that it gets us, because is this lockdown justified? Should it really be happening? Should it not be happening? What's the But the point is, it is happening, and we have to act accordingly. So whatever it is, kind of we're looking at ways to basically make our businesses operate, whatever the economic circumstances are like, and basically trying to find ways to create services and create opportunities that possibly before were not applicable, but right now they're very much in need. So that's how we're approaching it, and we're going to be sharing more about this as we go, as it's kind of relevant to the theme of the day. But yeah, today it's a Lightning Thursday. Lightning Thursday. So and you might want to kind of know as well where those themes came from, because basically we're thinking like what we're gonna name those days like, and then we're thinking it was tough to come up with ideas, but one of the things that I suggested was maybe we should apply themes that we already know, and those themes are like Jay is good in mythology. So Jay came up with, what was it? What kind of mythology was it?
Mainly, I think we stuck with Norse mythology. So
Yes.
Thursday is Thor's Day, which is named after the god of lightning, Thor. So that's how we came up with Lightning Fridays, and talking about the polarity and the energy and the impact and that kind of stuff. Kind of all kind of evolved from what we feel that lightning is, and how that kind of mutates into our everyday.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the other days also correlate a little with the Norse mythology, but we had to make them a little bit more modern so that they also fit with lockdown mythology. Uh, so, and modern life, basically. Um, so today is like a lot of things that basically affect, I mean, property people. I think a lot of people that are listening to this are property people. So a lot of things that affect property market right now are basically the situation with the economy, the situation with the lockdown. I mean, how is the lockdown now going to affect the sales of properties? There is a stamp duty holiday which is coming to an end. Was it end of March?
End of March, yeah.
End of March, and basically what that means is just thinking towards the future. Like if you have properties going through, and those properties basically can take whatever 3 months to go through to completion, where the stamp duty is normally due, then you need to plan so the completion is before the end of March, and that means you need to have some offers agreed probably by the end of January latest, or maybe even earlier than that. So yeah, especially with the banks being fairly slow on mortgages, then you need to have things prepared. So I think there's going to be a lot of push for people to agree things in December, perhaps, in order to move in or complete by end of March to benefit from the stamp duty holiday. Then there is a Brexit, of course, like no one remembers probably, but there is Brexit in 1 month and 25 days or something like that. And then there is also the US presidential election, which is also a big thing for I guess global politics and the relationship the UK's got with US. A lot of things happening, right?
A lot of things happening. If we pick up on the first one, so the stamp duty holiday, what's interesting about the 31st of March for me is that the stamp duty holiday ends, and then so does the protection for tenants, so for evictions and things like that. So there's a lot of things that kind of culminate on that day, and I think that was recently extended by a month in August. So that's going to be interesting. I think the one thing that I haven't seen a great deal of clarity on recently is the repossession situation, because obviously the government have put a restriction on repossessions, and the government have basically said, no one's going to be made homeless over Christmas. So no one really knows. Does it kick back in on Boxing Day or the day after? Or is it extended through New Year? Are they going to line it up on the 31st of March in the same way they've done with everything else? It's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen there. It kind of looks like everything is converging on the 31st of March. So it'll be interesting to see what the April auctions, for our purposes, look like. Those April, May, Junes are going to be really very interesting after the 31st of March. So I'm kind of interested to see if there is a massive polarity from the February, March auctions to the April, May auctions. So in terms of like forward thinking, that's where my head is at the moment for that specific issue.
Yeah, that's right. And I think what we noticed in the last couple of weeks in the auctions is that a lot of lots that we would have expected to sell, they didn't sell. And also in our auction buyers club, I covered this in our newsletter last week, no, actually this week, a couple of days ago. Basically, what happened was we have an auction buyers club. We've got about 15 people that are very committed to buying things in auctions. They've got resources, they've got motivation to buy things in auctions. And for about 5 months, there's been very little activity on the buying side. I mean, there was a lot of activity, but not many results on the buying side because people were being outbid, and basically auctions were a bit crazy, so people were missing out on deals. But last week we got 4 members who secured deals, either pre-auction, at auction, or post-auction, and those deals were quite spectacular, I would say. For fairly vanilla deals. It's one of them was a commercial property in Edinburgh with £28,000 per annum income, secured a very good covenant, a charity. But the main thing is the property was purchased for £380,000 before the auction, so 7.3% yield. But the magical thing is that this property has got 5,000 square feet just on the ground floor in Edinburgh, in a very residential area where there's a lot of demand for residential property, and the prices for residential property are about £300 per square foot. And converting this property into residential wouldn't be a massive issue because it's quite nicely shaped, and it's in a good condition, and it's got 20-year lease currently with this charity. But at the end of that 20-year lease, this property is going to be worth probably around £2-3 million, given price rises probably over 20 years. But even as it is now, it would be worth probably around 1.5 million, given it could be converted into 2 or 3 residential units. So that was one member, and another member got a property in Battersea at £500,000, which basically was guided in an Allsop auction at £550,000. And basically he bought this property for 500, which is only £11,000 more than the purchase price of the seller who they bought this in 2012. So basically someone bought a property at 2012 price in Battersea, where the prices in Battersea have increased massively. So and that's a long lease. There isn't really anything worrying about that property. It's just the timing of the market that was good for this sale. And another small flat in Staines that one of our clients sold. The other client purchased it, and it was purchased at £54,000. Needs about 20 spent on it, and it will be worth about 110, 120. So quite a small little tiny deal, but it's for those times, those deals are really good.
Yeah, and again, the polarity on that situation is the members of the club were doing really very well, and we missed out on a property that we went to bid for. It's and we were only going for something like, it was very, very small, but it's kind of in line with the other bits that we're doing at the moment, and it would have been nice to have picked it up. but it kind of shows that you can find a good deal at auction. They are out there. If you're looking, if you if you can secure it before, if you take the opportunity afterwards, if you jump into the middle of the battle, when they're waging war through bidding, there's opportunity there. No, I think there's some really good successes out there. I mean, we watched an auction live only a couple of weeks ago, and we saw a couple of properties. We thought, oh, this has got to fly. This has got to go absolutely insane, and it must have just sold, there or thereabouts near where the reserve price was. And then there was one property that we looked at and we thought, oh, all they've done is they've submitted planning. There is no planning permission. It's just been submitted recently. It's an end of terrace, semi-detached kind of looking house. It's got an extended plot to the side, and there's potential. And there's a property across the road that's done similar. I think it sold for like 2.5 times its guide price. It was like guided at 4 something and sold for
450, and it sold for 920 or something ridiculous like this.
Unbelievable. And we're sitting there
the
thinking,
2 houses done up wouldn't be worth that much.
Yeah, and we thought, but I mean, obviously there must be someone in the area that kind of knows something or can do something, or they'll go in and they'll get better planning, or they'll put a unit to the rear, or God knows what they're going to do. But we saw that and we thought, we don't know how to get from what you could potentially create to that kind of price. So again, polarity, right? That's the beauty of paying attention and looking at how these things perform.
That's right, yeah. And all I was saying, Jay, that there's an echo on your mic, so maybe you need to have it like a little bit further
away.
Yeah.
We're working with new technology at the moment, guys, so forgive that.
Yes. So we professionalized our set, and we kind of made it a little bit more. We try to increase the quality of what we're doing, instead of just putting a lot of quantity of our daily lives in there. So basically, we just we wondered what your comments are like about the market and things happening, and things what you're experiencing, guys. It would be good to have some interactions and see what else is going on. And someone on YouTube asked us, is the Auction Buyers Club a private group, or is it possible to become a member, Piotr? So Auction Buyers Club is a private club. It's we've got this limited to 12 members, and then there's a few kind of support people to make this run smoothly. And so there's about 15-16 of us in total, but we keep it to 12 members because it's quite an intimate and quite a committed group of individuals, and it's a minimum of 6 months membership. And you need to have meet certain criteria to kind of be allowed to join the club, which is you need to have at least 200k cash liquid ready to basically deploy, because that's the number one criteria for buying anything in the auction. You need to have some cash, and you need to have a kind of a buffer in if things go wrong. Like, you need to be able to fix them, and it's not only about buying the property, you need to fix certain things with properties, so you need a certain amount of cash to basically be dealing with it and to be using the benefits of the club, really. So that's one thing. And then another thing is people are committed to 6 months. We just basically reaching the 6-month period, and we might have 1 or 2 openings for this from December, but we don't know exactly yet. If you want to find out more, just drop us a message. We'll send you more details about this, send you an application form, and we'll take it from there, basically.
We went through quite not, I wouldn't say a grueling process, but we went through a proper process when we were talking about this club when we did the first lockdown, and kind of mentioned that there's going to be restrictions and requirements, this, that, and the other. And I think like 20 odd, 24, 25, 26, something like that, people applied. And we kind of narrowed it down to the 12 dedicated guys that we have now. And I think, it takes dedication, because only now are they starting to see the results of the continued, work that they're putting in. Because it's not immediate. You can't walk into an auction on day one and expect to get a good deal. You can walk into an auction on day one and buy a property, but anyone can do that. But you can't walk into an auction day one and get a solid deal. It's like a 90% chance that's not going to happen. So I think the guys in the club are doing really very well, and there's a hope in my heart that there won't be any spaces. We spent 6 months with these guys. We have a call with them every week. We go through an auction, so we pick a highlight auction we're going to look at, and we're going to dissect some of the lots and and talk about strategy and things like that. So I'm kind of, I think I'm a little bit maybe too emotionally into it.
Yes.
But we'll see. We'll see. The hope in my heart is that no one leaves ever.
Now there is value in the long. In this, like, that's why we made it a 6-month minimum process, because it does take dedication. It does take kind of building up this kind of database in your head about what a good deal looks like, how to secure it, and also not being emotionally attached to basically getting a deal first time you walk into an auction. Like, deals happen over and over and over and over again. You missed out on a deal once, it's fine. Next month there's going to be something else. You don't know what it looks like yet, but it's coming. So it's just all you need to do is kind of train yourself in spotting those things, and you do that by applying kind of consistent effort into this. So that's basically the whole point of it. Guys, let us know what you would like to hear about on those daily shows. Tomorrow we've got a relationship Friday, basically, and it's all about importance of life and business relationships, and how to maintain them in this lockdown period. And we've got 2 guests.
We have 2 of the most beautiful guests, not just physically but spiritually. These guys, I got such love for them. I really appreciate how they kind of talk about things, their approach to stuff. So I'm really looking forward to just being a part of listening to what they kind of find is important. And I hope you guys really kind of like that too. Are we telling people who the guests are now, or do we just jump in with a surprise tomorrow morning? How are we playing this?
Well, we could make a surprise, but some guests already said that they're coming on live, so I think our surprise wouldn't quite have the lightning effect that we want.
No!
No, but it's good. I think it's good. We want that promoted. So Diana Carolina is joining us tomorrow, and also Helen Chorley. So basically, we're gonna have a team of 4 of us discussing relationships, and like Jay said, the way they speak, the way they approach things is it's got depth, and it's got what else?
It's
Elegancy.
personal. They're talking about stuff like this, not just because it's happened to them, but because they've actually paid attention to it. They're trying to figure it out. They're learning it. They're growing, and in that growing, they're understanding more, and that's where you get that depth, right? Because things happen to a lot of people, but people sometimes just dismiss it. And I love the fact that they're taking the goods, the bads, the uneventuals, and they're trying to figure it out. And in doing that, they understand it more and they grow more from it. So the next time they go through something, or the next thing that happens, they're better prepared to kind of just tackle it. And I love that. I love that kind of strength of impact and depth. That's beautiful. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice one. Good stuff. Well, guys, thanks for joining us for the first of many of those daily shows, and thank you for engaging. And looking forward to connecting with you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been beautiful, guys. We'll catch you tomorrow.